What if I told you that doctors have been quietly recommending something so simple, so effortless, that most people over 70 completely overlook it? And it could be the single most powerful thing you do today for your blood sugar. No gym, no equipment, no sweat. Just 3 minutes. And here's what's strange. This isn't new science. Researchers discovered this years ago, but nobody talks about it. It never made the headlines. It never went viral, because there's no pill to sell, no expensive program to buy, just a remarkably simple movement that your own body is already designed to do. But before I show you exactly what it is, I need to tell you something first. Something that might change the way you think about blood sugar forever. Because what you're about to hear is not what your doctor typically has time to explain during a 50-minute appointment. And once you understand it, you'll never look at a quiet moment in your day the same way again. Stay with me. This is important. Section 1. The silent crisis. Right now, at this very moment, millions of people over the age of 70 are walking around with blood sugar levels that are slowly, silently damaging their nerves, their kidneys, their eyes, and their heart. And most of them have no idea. You might feel perfectly fine, a little tired maybe, a little more forgetful than usual, occasional tingling in the feet, slower to heal from a small cut. These things get written off as just getting older. But here's the truth. Many of those symptoms aren't aging. They're blood sugar. After the age of 60, the body's ability to regulate blood sugar begins to decline dramatically. The pancreas produces less insulin. Muscle mass decreases, which means there's less tissue available to absorb glucose from the blood. And something called insulin resistance starts creeping in, where the cells in your body simply stop responding to insulin the way they once did. The result? Glucose stays in the bloodstream longer. And glucose sitting in the blood is like rust forming inside a pipe. Slow, invisible, and destructive. Now here's where it gets serious. A study published in the journal Diabetes Care found that seniors who experience blood sugar spikes after meals, even moderate spikes, face a significantly higher risk of cardiovascular disease, cognitive decline, and kidney damage over time. Not just people with diabetes, people with normal blood sugar levels who experience routine post-meal spikes. That's most of us. So if you've been told your A1C is borderline, or even if nobody has said anything alarming yet, what I'm about to share with you could be one of the most important health decisions you ever make, and it takes 3 minutes. Section 2, the discovery. Here's where the story gets fascinating. For decades, the standard advice for managing blood sugar was simple. Eat less sugar, exercise more, lose weight. And while that's not wrong, it's wildly incomplete for people over 70. Because here's what the research has found more recently. It's not just how much you exercise over the course of a week. It's when you move, and how, in the critical window right after a meal. In 2022, researchers at the University of Otago in New Zealand ran a study that shocked the medical community. They compared 2 groups of people. One group sat quietly after eating. The other group did just 3 minutes of simple standing and gentle leg movements after eating. The result? The group that moved for just 3 minutes after meals had blood sugar levels that were nearly 30% lower than the group that sat still. Not 30% lower after a week of exercise, not 30% lower after a month of dieting, 30% lower within just 2 hours after that single meal. Let that sink in. And here's why it works. Because this is the part that most videos leave out. Your muscles are the largest glucose-absorbing tissue in your entire body. When your muscles contract, even slightly, they open up tiny doorways on the surface of muscle cells called GLUT4 transporters. These transporters pull glucose directly out of your bloodstream and into the muscle, completely independent of insulin. You don't need insulin for this to happen. The muscle contraction itself triggers it. This is called non-insulin-mediated glucose uptake, and it is one of the most powerful blood sugar regulation tools your body has, sitting there unused. Every time you sit still after a meal, the muscles in your legs are the largest muscles in your body. When you activate them, even gently, you activate this entire system. And the best time to do it? In the 30 to 60 minutes after eating, when blood sugar is naturally climbing toward its peak. Section 3. Why seniors over 70 are different. Now, I want to speak directly to you, because if you're over 70, your situation is unique. You cannot follow the same advice given to 40-year-olds, and you shouldn't try. High-intensity interval training, dangerous for many seniors. Long walks on an empty stomach can cause dizziness and blood sugar drops. Heavy resistance training, great in theory, but joints, balance, and recovery are real concerns at 70+. What you need is something that respects your body as it is right now. And that's exactly what makes this 3-minute method so remarkable. For seniors specifically, there's no impact on your joints. There's no risk of falling. You don't need to leave your chair. You don't need to change your clothes or break a sweat. And you don't need to do it for long, because the research shows that at this specific post-meal window, short and gentle is actually more effective for blood sugar control than long and intense. In fact, a study published in Sports Medicine found that interrupting sitting with short, low-intensity movement every 30 minutes produced significantly better blood sugar outcomes than a single 30-minute, moderate-intensity walk. Let me say that again, because it rewrites everything most people believe about exercise and blood sugar. Short, frequent, gentle movement beats long. Intense exercise for post-meal blood sugar control. For seniors with limited mobility, bad knees, heart conditions, or balance issues, this is genuinely life-changing news. Section 4, the 3-minute exercise. Alright, now let's get into exactly what to do. This is called the post-meal leg activation protocol. It takes 3 minutes. You can do it seated in a chair, standing at a counter, or even lying slightly reclined. No equipment needed, no special clothing. Here's how it works. Minute 1, seated calf raises. Sit comfortably in your chair with both feet flat on the floor. Slowly raise your heels off the ground, lifting onto your toes, then slowly lower them back down. The movement should be slow and controlled. Up for 2 counts, hold for 1, down for 2 counts. Your calf muscles, the gastrocnemius and soleus, are incredibly dense with muscle tissue and sit close to major blood vessels. Activating them creates a powerful pumping action that moves blood through the legs and signals those GLUT4 transporters to open up. Do this continuously for 1 full minute, slow and steady. If you feel any discomfort, slow down further or rest briefly and continue. Breathe naturally throughout. Minute 2, seated knee lifts. Now keeping your back supported, slowly lift your right knee up toward your chest, just a comfortable height, and lower it back down. Then lift the left, alternate slowly. This engages your hip flexors, quadriceps, and lower abdominal muscles, a much larger group of muscles entering the glucose uptake equation. Again, slow and controlled. Not a workout, not a strain, just gentle rhythmic muscle activation. Lift for 2 counts, lower for 2 counts, alternate for 1 full minute. Keep breathing. If you feel any pulling in your lower back, reduce the height of the lift. Minute 3, ankle circles and toe taps. For the final minute, extend your legs slightly in front of you and rotate your ankles in wide, slow circles. 5 rotations clockwise, 5 counterclockwise. Then alternate tapping your toes on the floor, right, left, at a comfortable pace. This final minute keeps circulation moving, activates the smaller stabilizing muscles of the lower leg, and helps prevent the sharp blood sugar crash that can sometimes follow a rapid glucose uptake. End with 5 slow, deep breaths. Inhale for 4 counts. Exhale for 6. This activates your parasympathetic nervous system, which further supports healthy post-meal digestion and glucose metabolism. That's it. 3 minutes. Done. Section 5. When and how often. Now, timing matters enormously here, and this is where most people get it wrong. The optimal window is within 30 minutes after finishing a meal, ideally within 15 minutes. Why? Because blood sugar begins rising within 15 to 30 minutes after eating. It typically peaks between 60 and 90 minutes after a meal. If you activate your muscles before that peak arrives, you intercept the spike. You're not just lowering blood sugar after it's already high, you're preventing it from spiking in the first place. That is a fundamentally different and far more powerful outcome for your long-term health. Do this after breakfast. Do it after lunch. Do it after dinner. That's 3 sets of 3 minutes per day, 9 minutes total, and research suggests that consistent post-meal movement like this, done daily, can reduce average daily blood sugar levels by a clinically meaningful amount within just 2 to 4 weeks. Some people notice changes in their energy levels, less afternoon fatigue, fewer sugar cravings, sharper mental clarity within the first few days. This makes sense. Chronically elevated blood sugar causes inflammation in the brain. As blood sugar stabilizes, many seniors report a noticeable improvement in mood, focus, and energy. One more thing about timing. If you take medications for blood, sugar, or blood pressure, speak with your doctor before making significant changes to your post-meal routine. Not because this exercise is dangerous, it isn't, but because it can work so effectively that medication adjustments may become necessary. That's a good problem to have, but it's your doctor's call to make. Section 6. What to pair with this. This exercise works best as part of a simple post-meal strategy. And I want to give you 2 other tools, completely free, completely simple, that amplify everything you just learned. Tool 1, the pre-meal walk. A 10-minute slow walk before a meal, not after, before, has been shown to significantly reduce the amount of glucose that enters the bloodstream from that meal. Walking before eating depletes some of the available glucose storage in your muscles, essentially creating more room for incoming glucose to be absorbed without spilling into the blood. You don't need to walk fast. A slow, comfortable stroll around the block or even around your home for 10 minutes before sitting down to eat can meaningfully change what your blood sugar does over the next 2 hours. Tool 2, the protein and fiber first rule. The order in which you eat your food during a meal changes your blood sugar response dramatically. If you eat your vegetables and protein first, before bread, rice, pasta, or fruit, the fiber and protein slow the rate at which glucose enters your bloodstream. Studies have shown this simple reordering of a meal can reduce post-meal blood sugar spikes by up to 37%. You don't have to change what you eat, just change the order. Vegetables first, protein second, starches and sweets last. Combined with the 3-minute post-meal exercise, these 3 simple strategies form a complete, senior-friendly blood sugar management system that requires no medication, no gym, and no willpower. Section 7, the bigger picture. I want to zoom out for a moment, because managing blood sugar isn't just about avoiding diabetes. For seniors over 70, blood sugar control is connected to virtually every major health outcome you care about. Heart health, brain health, kidney function, vision, energy, sleep, balance, wound healing, even immune function. When blood sugar is chronically elevated, even moderately, it damages blood vessel walls. It promotes inflammation. It disrupts sleep architecture. It feeds the cognitive decline that many seniors fear more than almost anything else. And when blood sugar is stable, when those spikes are reduced and that post-meal chaos is calmed, the entire body functions better. It's not a cure. It's not magic, but it is biology. And biology, when you work with it instead of against it, is remarkably powerful. The 3-minute exercise you just learned isn't a trick. It's not a trend. It's your body's own built-in blood sugar regulation system. One that doesn't require insulin, doesn't require drugs, and doesn't require a gym membership. It requires 3 minutes and a decision to use what you already have. If you found this video helpful, I want to ask you to do one thing right now. Share this with someone over 70 who you care about. A parent, a sibling, a neighbor, a friend who's been told their blood sugar is a little high, because this information could genuinely change their health, and most people never hear it explained this way. You now know something that millions of seniors don't. You know that 3 minutes after every meal could be more powerful than an hour at the gym. You know that your muscles hold the key to blood sugar control, and that key doesn't require insulin to work. Start tonight. After your next meal, try the calf raises. Just 1 minute. See how you feel. Build from there. Your blood sugar doesn't have to run your life. And with something this simple, there's no reason to wait. I'll see you in the next video.